Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps. Welcome po sa Mindanao Hour, led by Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abela. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to this week's edition of Mindanao Hour. With us this morning are Secretary of National Defense Delfin Lorenzana and spokesperson Restituto Padilla. We'd like to begin with giving you an update on the situation in Marawi as of 6 p.m. of the 2nd of July, 2017. We'd like to begin with the statistics. Civilians killed by terrorists, 39, adjusted from 44 to 39 based on COCO report on the findings of recently discovered cadavers. Also, civilians rescued by government troops, 1,717 from 1,716, or +1. Terrorists killed, 336 from 322, an increase of 14, and government casualties, 84. Recovered high-powered firearms from terrorists, 402 from 398, or +4. We'd like to make a note. Again, we'd like to reiterate, that it is government's policy not to negotiate with terrorists. The AFP reiterates its call to all our civilians to practice the concept of shared responsibility in security by being vigilant, alert, and conscious of their immediate environs, wherever they are, and to report to authorities suspicious persons or items left unattended immediately. If we work together, we can secure and keep our communities safe from all threats. Significant developments. The military offensive operations focused on the remaining pockets of resistance continue. Clearing operations by sector also ongoing. Interagency meetings and consultations preparatory to the rehabilitation, reconstruction, and rebuilding of Marawi ongoing. We'd like to make some references now to reports from DSWD. The Department of Social Welfare and Development is providing 5,000 pesos financial assistance for each validated internally displaced family. The 5,000 is broken down as follows. 1,000 is immediate assistance for the observance of Ramadan, 4,000 as assistance for the return to their communities once it is safe for them to do so, and to do so. Around 72,000 internally displaced families are subject for validation. As of the 30th of June 2017, distribution of 1,000 pesos immediate assistance has already reached 50%. The 4,000 shall be provided upon the return to their communities. The DSWD consulted with its concerned field offices, DSWD, ARMM, and Marawi City, and agreed that the registration of new internally displaced families shall continue until the 5th of July 2017. End of report from DSWD. From the Office of the Cabinet Secretary, CABSEC Leonce Vasco ordered housing agencies under the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, HUDC, to reallocate half of their current gender and development GAD budget and also the remaining unutilized GAD budget from previous years to address the needs of women affected by the conflict in Marawi by providing hygiene kits and psychosocial support services. This from the Office of the Cabinet Secretary. There ends the report. We'd now like to give way to Secretary of Defense Lorenzana.
Good morning. Yeah, I just got the admin order number 3, creating an interagency task force for the recovery, reconstruction, and rehabilitation of the city of Marawi and other affected localities. This means the Marawi and the immediate environment, especially the neighboring towns, who are also evacuated by their residents. So we are now preparing the rehabilitation plan. I was designated as the chairperson of this task force. It's called the Task Force Bangon Marawi. And we are now preparing the mechanism to go into rehabilitation and recovery as soon as the fighting stops in Marawi. And since I am also the chairman of the NDRMC, the National Disaster Management Council, I'm going to use the NDRMC as the vehicle to implement the rehabilitation of Marawi, because we consider the events in Marawi as man-made disaster, so that we do not need anymore to designate additional or other people to be members of the NDRMC, but we will use the current mechanism of the NDRMC. So the first thing that we would do after the fighting stops is to clear the areas of any left IEDs or any explosives, after which we are going to allow the return of the civilians, of the residents of Marawi. We will first, can we have the map, please? Ito, lagay mo dito. Can you put it on the table, the chair? Sa gitna, ito lang. A little bit facing me. Medyo naka-on sa akin. Okay, this is what's happening in Marawi now. So the area of conflict is actually this central business district, itong lugar na to. And according to the commander on the ground, General Galvez, yesterday, they still have to clear 1,500 houses and buildings. And at the rate of clearing of 70 to 100 houses per day, it will take them some time to clear the area. Now, this area around, this is where the capital is, MSU. I think these areas are not actually affected by fighting, and we may allow the residents to go back to their houses here, because after being away from their houses for more than 1 month, then I think everybody wants to go back to their homes, rebuild it kung nasira, and of course it's always comfortable to be going back to your homes. So this is the area that we are going, that may take a lot of time for recovery and rehabilitation, because there are lots of buildings destroyed because of our aerial bombings, and also because of the actions of the enemy, blowing up buildings as well and burning houses. So we now have a mechanism for as long as tumigil na yung bakbakan dyan, mag-start na kami ng rehabilitation. In fact, we may be, if with this document, we can now maybe start stockpiling construction materials for the rehabilitation of Marawi. We already have one engineering brigade, Army brigade, who is on standby, who will go there immediately once the fighting stops to start rebuilding the infrastructure of the city. Lights, water, roads, bridges that were destroyed, if there were any, and rebuilding of houses and buildings of the government. Now, the President has decided to also help in the rebuilding of private homes that were destroyed during the conflict. One of the things that we would like to restore immediately are the stores, so that when the residents go back, then they have places to buy their provisions. Also the banks, if we can restore the bank, so that the banking system or the businesses of the area will resume. So that's the idea. We will involve the local government leaders there, the mayors, the governors, the barangay captains, because we are going to establish a defense mechanism here, so that the event of the the event of the past month in Marawi will not be repeated. So from there, maybe we can entertain questions from you.
First question, Pia Ranyada, Rappler. Microphone.
Good morning, sir. Sir, the President always says that he will depend on the security officials on his decision to lift martial law. So at this point, sir, given the situation in Marawi and Mindanao, would you say that security officials or yourself will recommend to the President to lift martial law?
We'll wait for a couple of weeks more so that we will see the real picture. We don't have yet the necessary information to recommend the continuation or not of martial law.
Sir, also we want to ask about information about Isnilon Hapilon. Can you just verify reports that he has left Marawi? Where is he now?
According to our latest info, he's still inside Marawi. In fact, there is an information we got this morning that he is hiding in one of the mosques there in Marawi. I think this is maybe correct because we also have people watching his arrival in Basilan. There were 3 fighters from Marawi that arrived in Basilan more than a week ago, but Isnuron was not one of them. So we still believe that he is still in Marawi.
Henry Uri, DCRH. Pia, can you pass the microphone, please?
Secretary, good morning. Yung binanggit nyo lang po sa mga private homes na tutulungan din ng gobyerno para maibangon muli. Can you go on details of that? Paano pong proseso? Magkano ang pwedeng maitulong sa kanila para maitayo ulit yung bahay? At same as old structures ba yung gagawin ninyo? O pwedeng sa kanila na manggaling yung mga bagong designs? Dun sa mga...
Tingnan natin muna. Tingnan natin kung ano yung kung yung sira pwede pang i-repair o kung bagong structure na. So we'll wait for the assessment and survey of the engineering brigade, engineering people, so that we can decide properly. Pero yung mga bahay dyan na nasiraan lang ng pintuan, I think because what we will do is just provide them with the materials, tsaka help from our carpenters to help them restore their houses. I believe that a lot of those houses are still livable. All you need is a little bit of repair, except yung this central business district here that are actually talagang gibang-gibayan eh. That is where we are going to spend a lot of resources and time to restore them to their previous
So may pondo na ho ba tayong nakita after assessment? Kahit ballpark figure lang?
Yung pondo na na-approve ni Presidente is 20 billion. Yun ang kanyang sinabi na rehabilitation fund ng Marawi. Isa pa pala, the DSWD is planning to put up 10 cities for the evacuees so that they can move from Iligan to Marawi. Maybe the people that we are going to put in the 10 cities will be those whose houses have been destroyed completely. But for those who are still livable, then I think they can go back to their houses. Kung hindi man sila nakatira sa bahay nila, then they can pitch tent beside their house kasi alam niyo naman, kahit ako, kung taga rito ako, at hindi naman sirang-sira yung bahay ko, I can go there and live with a tent sa tabi ng bahay ko so that I can start rebuilding my home and cleaning it.
Secretary, correction lang po, 20 billion, right? Ano po?
20 billion
20
pesos.
billion pesos, okay.
Oo.
Kasama na ho dyan yung mga establishment na nag-iba, itong bagong pabahay assistance ninyo, kasama na ho lahat doon sa 20 billion?
Kasama na dyan, but we do not know if that is enough already. So maybe the government should be prepared to add some more if there is, kung kulang yun.
Last question, may pondo ho ba tayong inaasahan from the United States on rehabilitations?
We do not know yet, but we have already gotten some information that they will help. We do not know if they are going to help in kind or in funds or whatever.
All right, thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, Henry. Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, I understand yun pong deadline, 6-month deadline na binigay to neutralize terrorists, including Abu Sayyaf, nag-lapse na po. So how far are we from neutralizing terrorist groups, bandits, specifically Abu Sayyaf?
Nag-lapse na ba? Hindi, kasi February 1st nag-umpisa yun eh. So June 30, June, July, July 30 pa. Meron pa kami isang buwan. We still have one month because when General Anyo made the deadline, it was February already. So we still have 1 month. So hopefully we can finish the Abu Sayyaf because we are not only talking about the Abu Sayyaf there in Marawi, but don't forget that we still have Abu Sayyaf existing in Holo and in Basilan.
And how far are we, sir, from...
Hindi ko alam kung how far are we, but we're trying to beat the deadline.
Pero ano na, sir, yung naging progress natin for
Progress?
the past few months?
Well, what happened in Marawi is that we were able to neutralize a lot of those Abu Sayyaf that came from Holo also and Basilan. So medyo nabawasan sila. I don't know if the how many more are left in Holo. We're still trying to verify how many are still there in Holo and Basilan. And our troops are still operating there also in tandem with what we are doing in Marawi.
Okay, thank you, Maricel. Ina,
Excuse me. General Padilla would like to...
May I just add to what the Secretary has mentioned? The Chief of Staff, General Anyo, is very happy with the progress of our troops in the Samba Sulte area, and AOR also directly under the Western Mindanao Command. And as proof of the accomplishments of the armed forces, kailangan lang natin maalala na yung sinimulan nating operasyon dyan ay laban sa grupo ng ASG na patuloy na nandudukot sa dagat. Any abduction in the high seas was one of the principal criminal activities that they have been doing and that we wanted to address, something that was a cause of national embarrassment. May I ask you, have you heard anything of that sort happening lately? For more than 3 months, I guess, we have not heard anything. So we have successfully degraded the capability and the capacity of this group to undertake many of these criminal activities that have been undertaken in the high seas. Hence, the satisfaction of the Chief of Staff about the progress of this operation and our commitment, as mentioned by the Secretary himself, to still pursue what we need to do in the remaining time we have for the rest of July. So again, critical to the success of our forces there is the full cooperation of the LGU and the full cooperation of the citizenry. So we expect to get more cooperation from the LGU and the citizenry so that we can see more people surrendering. We don't like to kill, but if they keep on fighting and they keep on doing criminal activities, we will have to do what we need to do. But it's better for them to lay down their arms and surrender so that they can be transitioned into more productive members of society later on. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Ina Andalong.
Good morning, Secretary Lorenzana. Will the task force Bangon Marawi be tackled yung functions during the cabinet meeting this afternoon? If so, what will be the first concerns that you will be raising to the President?
If it will be mentioned this afternoon during the cabinet meeting. My first concern is actually the funding, because as early as now, we would like to procure some construction materials like lumber, cement, nails, yung mga yero, to support the civilians who are going back and repairing their homes, especially those this outskirt dito, yung dito kasi babalik na sa Larito. The massive development here, the construction will come later because it will have to be holistic approach yan. They have to bring the building from ground up. But for those with very small or slight damages only, we need these construction materials now so that once they go up, and start rebuilding their homes, then they have something to also use for the repairs of their homes.
Sir, how will the procurement happen po ba? Will it be purchased through funds of concerned government agencies, and what projects would need bidding if meron man po?
Well, we are expecting that this will be emergency procurement because of the disasters there, and we will use maybe the martial law as a reason to go on emergency purchases, so that we will not go into a long drawn out bidding. The procedure kasi pagka yung negotiated bidding, matagal yan eh. It will take months, and we need this immediately. So hopefully the government can grant us the emergency mode of procurement. And it will be procured from the fund that will be given by DBM. We will still maybe find out the mechanism of who are going to disburse these funds.
So is it right to say, sir, na yung emergency procurement will be for yung mga damaged houses, but for
Right.
the bigger structures, will that also be through emergency procurement, or wala po bang i-declare for bidding? I'm just clarifying.
Tingnan natin. It depends on the amount of the buildings that will be put up, especially here in the Central Business District. We'll find out that out later. Anyway, it will take time to build these structures. So mas ano yun, maybe we can follow some of the procedures of the procurement. But for the houses that were just slightly damaged here, at the other side of the river, this is the Agus River, dito, pwede na siguro yung emergency purchases dyan.
Sir, last na lang sa akin. I believe, ang sabi po yata 1 square kilometer na lang yung focus ng offensives. Nakaumpisa na po ba tayo for damage assessment? Do we have any initial figures?
Inumpisahan na, pero hindi pa tayo nakakakuha ng report because medyo pitsi-pitsi pa lang yung report nila eh. And we will get the clear picture of the damage here in this Central Business District once the fighting stops, para natin makita lahat. Otherwise, we do not have the real picture.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Ace Romero.
Secretary Lorenzana, you mentioned mag-uumpisa yung rehab pag na-clear yung area. Meron bang timeline kung kailan talaga matatapos yung operations?
Yeah, I said a while ago, the people on the ground, they do not want to give timeline now, but they're trying hard to finish it as soon as possible. Kasi ako, nasunog na ako 3 beses. I keep putting deadlines. 3 times, I was nakuryente na ako, kaya ayaw ko na rin magsabi. Because, really, if you put a timeline on this kind of problem, all the enemy has to do is to hold out for a couple of days. Nasira na yung timeline mo. Pahiya ka na naman. This is different from other projects that we have, like construction project of the government na meron kang, makakompute mo eh. But this kind of problem is very difficult. And since it is urban fighting, which a lot of our troops there are not prepared, medyo they are learning as they go along on how to fight in this built-up area. Kaya yun ang nakatagal talaga dyan sa problema. So we are not going to put any deadline.
Kasi nabanggit ni Presidente the next few days daw matatapos.
Yeah, ako din doon. Sabi ko 3 days din eh, pero wala rin nangyari. Alam nyo,
Si Ross.
every time our people will be aggressive, namamatayan tayo eh. We had our latest casualty, Resti, 3 days ago, di ba?
Yes, sir.
O 2 days ago.
3 days ago,
3 days ago, nagkaroon naman tayo ng casualty because yung mga tropa natin, they're so aggressive to finish the job. Mahirap din ito eh, mahirap din ito. If I were there, I would like the job to be finished immediately. Kaya lang, the enemy is also very wily and very resourceful. The latest battalion that was brought here, the 10th IB, yung ginawa nila, they were able to go without knowing that the houses that they have left behind, mayroon pang mga laman, tapos pagtalikod nila, binaril sila sa likod. So nagkaroon naman tayo ng casualty. So they have to go back and clear again the houses. So napakalaki ang challenge dito. And so we have also to give maybe leeway to our troops to do what they want to do here. I do not want to micromanage this I just let the commanders on the ground decide what to do. They know what they are doing.
Thank you, Secretary.
Okay, Rosalie Cos.
Hi sir, good morning sir.
Good
Sir,
morning.
dun po sa 336 militants killed, meron po ba tayong significant findings sa mga identification ng foreign terrorists na napaslang? Kung may update po tayo sa kanilang pagkakakilanlan, sir?
Yung una pa lang yung first week lang yung meron tayong 8 na alam nating namatay na foreign terrorists. May Saudi, mayroong Indian, mayroong Chechen, Malaysian, and Indonesian. Other than that, wala tayo kasi lahat nung napapatay ng mga sundalo natin were killed by snipers and we have no way of recovering their bodies to find out if they are really foreigners or not.
How about sir dun po sa updated na bilang po ng mga naaresto under martial law? Yun po bang former mayor ng Marawi City yung maituturing na po natin na highest ranking official na supporter po ng mga terrorist or meron pa po tayong ibang binabantayan?
Yung pa lang ngayon ang nahuli natin si Pre Salik who was captured somewhere there in Cagayan de Oro. In fact, he was actually traveling from Manila towards Cagayan de Oro when he was captured along the way. Siya pa lang, the brother, Solitario, is still at large. There are people who are talking to me na kilala siya that he would like to kausapin niya. Kung sabi ko, sumurinder muna siya. But he is not surrendering. In fact, he wrote a very good column in one of his newspaper last week about the problem there. He's a very learned person and I would like to talk to him also. So, pero sumurinder muna siya kasi kasama siya doon sa mga identified na supporter ng mga Maoti Romato clan.
Pero sir, since nabanggit ng Pangulo na dapat makipag-ugnayan muna sa inyo, ayaw niya makipag-usap. Since then, hindi na po siya tumawa.
Hindi na. Wala na ang contact sa intermediaries namin. And maybe I will reactivate this intermediary so that we could talk to him also.
Sir, dun po sa less than 200 na nasa listahan po ng mga aarestuhin, may bilang po kayo kung ilan na po ang naaresto?
Ang naaresto lang, the latest I got was only 16. 16 pa
po.
lang and mostly they are members of the Maoti family. Yeah.
Pero sir, na-counter-check po ba natin dun sa mga casualties? Yung mga militants na napatay, kung nandun po yung mga
No,
pangalan?
we do
Hindi
not
pa
have
rin.
any way of counter-checking it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ross. Benji Liwanag, DCWB.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I have 3 concerns. Yung number 1 is the assessment. Ongoing na ho ba yung assessment ngayon? Kasi may mga cleared areas na po sa Marawi. At saka kung sino po ang gagawa ng assessment, will it be the NDRRMC or the local government?
It will be, we have tasked the engineering brigade to make the assessment. So, I think they have already started assessing these fringes na yan na hindi naman nagkaroon ng labanan dito. Kasi, for one, pagka wala nang putukan dyan, paunahin ko nang bumalik sa mga bahay nila itong mga nasa paligid. These are the people who are really wanting to go. I received a lot of communications from people whose houses are far from the fighting, kung pwede lang bumalik na sila rito. Ayaw lang namin sila pabalikin kasi baka magkaroon ng mga missing counter dyan sa mga gabi, especially at night. Kailangan tapusin muna natin yung putukan dito. There should be no firing here or conflict before we can allow people to come. So to avoid any encounter or any collateral damages of civilians.
Okay. Sir, last week may mga nakuhang passports from yung Indonesian passports. Na-verify na ho ba to? Have you coordinated with the Bureau of Immigration? Hawak na po ba ninyo yung...
Yeah, we are. And we have also, itinimbre nila namin sa mga countries nila, mga Indonesian, so that we can also trace yung origins nila sa kabila.
Any information, sir?
Wala pa. We are still waiting for information.
Okay. Yung third, may mga lumalabas na selfie ng mga maute. Ang gaganda ho ng mga pictures nila at video. Ano pong take ninyo rito, Secretary?
Sa totoo lang, talagang mga magaganda naman sila mga tao eh. Anyway, mga selfie nila, well, anybody can have a selfie. Meaning, alam mo, this is part of their propaganda also to show to the world that they are still around and hindi pa sila nauubos at saka handa pa rin silang lumaban.
Thank you very much.
Correction pala doon sa sa arrested. I stand corrected, hindi lang 16 pala mga matagal na yung confirmation. 66 na pala yung arrested. 66. So
Thank you,
kulang
Secretary.
ako ng 50.
Ian Cruz, GMA 7.
Secretary,
Ay, yes.
good morning po.
Good morning.
Follow po dun kay Ace kanina. Nasabi niyo po na hindi kayo nagbibigay na ng new timeline para dun sa pagtatapos ng bakbakan.
Yeah.
Pero magsusona po ang Pangulo, ikalawang sona niya. During sona time po ba, may bakbakan pa rin sa assessment niyo?
It is my hope that wala nang bakbakan. Wala na sana. Kasi we would like to also to, parang naman hindi mahirapan si Presidente sa zona niya na nagsasalita sa doon sa Congress, mayroon pang bakbakan. Sana tapos na. And that is one of the things that I have asked the commanders on the ground, that if they could terminate the conflict there before the President goes on his zona.
Sabi niyo po, yun ang instruction niyo sa ground. Bakit napaka-importante na wala nang bakbakan during zona time?
Well, so that for one, the President can also announce the rehabilitation program kung nakabalik na ba yung mga civilian. This is very important. Now, I've seen the faces of those evacuees in Iligan and talagang makita mo yung kanila yun. They're so frustrated and so anxious to go back home. And ito yung nakita rin ni Presidente na nandoon kami at sinasabi niya kung naawa din sila sa mga evacuees. And we'd like the President, when he goes there and delivers his zona, is that ongoing na yung ating rehab, saka maybe most of the people in these outskirts dito nakabalik na sa bahay nila.
Sir, yung kay Hapilon, kay IH, ang sabi nyo, nakita ng intel nyo yung ibang mga tropa nila na napunta na sa Basilan. How sure naman yung intel natin na hindi niya na-miss yung pagpunta doon ni Hapilon?
Yung intel kasi natin is not the military. It's actually the civilians. Katribo din nila. Because Hapilon is a very lucrative target din yan. The Basilan people there, the Yakans, know that there is a 5 million prize on the head of Hapilon. And it's very tempting for them also to give us accurate report on where his whereabouts so that they will also get some of the money.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Glenn?
Secretary, tungkol po dun sa ni BJMP Director Seraf na may threat po ng operation ng Maute Group, Ayamora at Farhan ng Maute sa BJMP. Ano pong magiging tugon natin dun, sir? And ilipat pa sa isang mas secured na
Hindi na siguro dahil wala naman kayong paglilipatan sa mga yan all we have to do is maybe reinforce them with some of our troops para hindi nila ma-attack yung BJMP dyan sa Taguig. This happens a lot of times. It happened when I was brigade commander in Jensan. Inatake nila yung city jail. Kinapawan lately, inatake na naman nila. So it's very possible. Talagang malaki ang probability dyan na they will try to spring them out of prison. So, we will, kung kailangan ng BJP ng tulong from the AFP, then we are ready to support them with some additional troops.
Okay, last questions. Catherine Valente?
Good morning, sir. Sir, the Supreme Court is set to decide tomorrow po on the petitions on martial law declaration. Is the government or is the military or the palace confident that the Supreme Court will rule martial law as constitutional?
I, for one, is very confident that the Supreme Court will rule on the legality of the martial law. Kasi nakita ko naman I was there, I briefed them. I and General Anyo briefed the Supreme Court in bank. And ang kanilang tinitingnan naman the factual basis, kung talagang merong basis. And I believe we have sufficiently or competently answered all the questions on the basis of martial law. And yeah, tomorrow is the day that they are going to promulgate the ruling. I look forward to seeing that they will say that it is legal for the president to declare martial in the first place.
Okay.
General Padilla.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in consonance with the approval of the order that was cited by the Secretary, I would just like to provide you an update on concrete steps being taken on the ground. So, based on the report of Brigadier General Ray, who is the head of Joint Task Group Ranao. So, while the battle for the remaining pockets of Marawi remain, the armed forces of the Philippines knows that the bigger task for the post-hostilities period should be started early or already. Hence, the Armed Forces of the Philippines Joint Task Group Ranao has been quietly working with the LGUs, both the provincial and municipal, and other agencies of government who have a stake in the effort. This is why, last Saturday, the Joint Task Group Ranao took part in a very important workshop where decisions on the selection of the temporary settlement area was made. The designated area selected was also approved by the national, and it was loaned by a private individual pro bono. So doon ilalagay po yung temporary settlement area at magsisimula po ang groundworks itong linggong ito. So ito po ay malayo sa conflict area at doon po ilalagay lahat ng mga residente po na nawalan po ng mga tirahan. At ang kanila pong napagkasunduan dito ay ang kanila pong magiging construction design para sa settlement area o temporary resettlement area ay with due regard to the cultural sensitivities of our Muslim brothers and sisters and their families. It was, excuse me, it was also noted that there was alignment of the organizational approach between the national and local. At ang organizational approach po nila dito ay along the cluster system. So meron pong tinalaga na in charge sa mga security and peace, sa health and welfare, along the lines na sinusunod natin sa NDRIM C. At tulad nga po ng nabanggit, yung lugar po na pinili ay approved na rin sa level ni Yusek Halad na siyang tinalaga po ni Secretary Lorenzana na mag-lead dito sa ground effort. Ito po yung mga bahagi ng mga naging development nitong mga nakaraan. And present during the workshop regarding the early recovery and rehabilitation of Marawi City, other than the local officials, was also Executive Director Josita Andot of OPAP, the City Mayor himself, Attorney Mahul Damdara, and other provincial officials who were present. So the bottom line here is that maganda po yung naging nangyari sa workshop at lumalabas doon na maski yung mga magpaplano ng pagbangon ng Marawi ay sila rin po ay mga biktima. At lahat sila, dahil biktima, may stake po sila sa ginagawa nila, kaya maganda po naging tulong-tulong na gawain dito. So it showed the capacity of the Filipinos in that area being resilient, the capacity to work together, and the ability to hand-in-hand bring back Marawi again in the future by all these efforts. So there was consensus that united they will stand to bring back Marawi to its feet as soon as hostilities end. So yun lang po.
Okay, last question, Benji Liwanag.
Padagdag lang doon sa sinabi niya, by the way, ever since about 2 weeks ago, we have instituted some controls on people getting inside Marawi. Lahat ng gustong pumunta rito, all those NGOs or any organization that would like to go there, dito muna sila sa Marawi. They have to clear it with General Ray, and we only choose people who can go up. The reason being, we don't want a lot of people there roaming around in Marawi while the firing, shooting is still going on. And later on, siguro, when the rehabilitation starts also, we also we will also control people going in so that only legitimate yung mga may gagawin lang sa loob ang nandoon sa loob. So we will put some checkpoints dito, papunta sa Taguluan, punta ng Malabang dito, and from the other side is from Butig, checkpoints so that hindi lang lahat-lahat nakakapasok. We do not want unwanted people to be here, roaming around, taking pictures and then reporting na hindi naman dapat i-report sa labas. Although we will not control news, we would like also to situate that only those news that should be published are getting out, na hindi naman masyadong derogatory sa mga nangyari sa loob. So those are the changes that we are going to institute in sport is since about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, thank you. Benji Liwanag, last question.
Secretary, how would you assure na hindi mapopolitika yung rehabilitation saka hindi mapopolitika itong hakbang pa ng gobyerno?
Kaya siguro ako ang inutusan ni Presidente dahil wala naman akong political ambition. Para naman it will be I will involve the politicians sa loob, especially the mayor dito, mayor ng Marawi, si Mayor Mahol, also the governor and the vice governor, saka yung mga towns dito sa Piagapo, lahat, they will be involved. But the decision will be resting on the chairman of the rehabilitation, which is me.
Okay, thank you, Benji
Thank you
Liwanag.
very much.
In conclusion, we'd just like to add, on the joint Philippine-Indonesia patrol at the Celebes Sea, a coordinated joint patrol between the Philippines and Indonesia will start this week at Celebes. This activity is aimed at strengthening the security of the two countries, especially between their common borders. Likewise, we aim to improve the interoperability of our forces with the sharing of information and exchange of best practices. Lastly, an update on the donations. As of 10 o'clock this morning, the donations given through Land Bank for military casualties is 2,686,870 and 98 centavos, and for Marawi internally displaced persons, 616,530 and 71 centavos. The source is the AFP. End of presentation. Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Thank you, Brigadier General Restituto Padilla. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.